What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Global Renaissance Podcast, where we talk to dope people doing different things with different passions and learn their philosophies on life. And today we have a very special guest, Miss Anny Ham. Anny, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
What's up, y'all? My name is Anny Ham. I am 19 years old, turning 20 on Monday.
Period. Talk about it.
I currently live in Boston, Mass. I come from Honduras. Right, shout out to my Latinos. Right, I came here when I was 8 years old. I've been living in Boston ever since. I consider myself, a creative. I do a bunch of different things. We're about to talk about it.
For sure.
So, I just do this, I do that. So it was just, that's
Facts. So we're gonna get into all the dope things that Anny does, because she does a lot. Definitely one of the dopest, like she said, she's a creative. She's definitely one of the dopest creatives I've ever met. We're gonna get into her socials and all that, so you guys can go see. But I want to start off. You said you were born in Honduras. Talk about that. Okay, how long were you there? When did you come over to the U.S.? What was that transition like?
So basically, like I said, I came over here when it was around 2008, and at the time it was everything was just so crazy to me, because I'm really in the States, you know what I'm saying? If there's any immigrants watching this, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? It's crazy. But for me, I actually got a head start because I went to a bilingual school and I was in Honduras. So when I came here, I basically skipped first grade. I went straight to second grade. Wow. And it was just, it was great. I got to meet a lot of people, learn about different cultures, all type of stuff. Usually how it goes. But the transition, though, it was pretty smooth, because I was very just, committed to learning what I had to learn, just really making it. Because, of course, like we all know, right, the U.S. is the country of opportunity. There's literally anything that you can do, anything at all. So, that's really what I understood that from a really, young age. I saw, limitless, things that I would be able to do. So, that's where I'm at.
Okay, that's dope. And obviously you speak Spanish, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How big of that kind of culture do you still carry with you to this day?
I still a very I feel like nothing. If anything, me with my culture, that relationship has just gotten stronger, because I really saw the value of, me personally. I feel like I'm very more how do I say it? I have a lot more opportunity than the people in my country are able to have. Obviously you guys already know Central America and countries like that. It's they're very for the most part pretty poor. Don't have as many resources, that type of stuff. So me being here, it's there was this one day, actually. It was when they did a street performance for Hispanic stuff and all that stuff, and it was just I saw a bunch of cultures, a lot of people doing different things, and I was wow, this is so beautiful. We're really here, you know what I'm saying? So that's when, I started getting really more connected with my culture, my heritage, all stuff. So I wouldn't say anything has gone less, So yeah, that's where I'm at.
How did you? So you went from Honduras you came to the U.S. when you were 8 or 9. And then from there, you're in school. You went to a vocational high school, right? Can you talk a little bit about that? What did you do there? What was that experience like? What did you learn?
Okay, so basically I went to a vocational high school, right? Shout out Northeast Metro Tech. It's in Wakefield. And, we had to look around, of course, in the first week through all the shops, see what we wanted to do, what we wanted to study. And for me, my very first choice at first was culinary. I wanted to be a chef, right?
Go ahead, Chef Anny.
I want to cook, right? Because I just love food. I still do, but you know what I'm saying? It's different now. And my very last choice was business technology, where you basically just learn about the world of business. There's a bunch of tech stuff, how to repair computers, it's everything, literally everything. And it's crazy because I actually ended up switching that at the end of, the exploratory week, right? I was you know what, I saw business tech. I noticed that that's where the money's at. That's where I'm okay, all this business stuff, this is where people really become millionaires. So it's I'm gonna go here, So that was me with that. And I actually didn't even have any intention of going into business and stuff like that before that. It was after I graduated high school where I was I came to the realization. I'm whatever I end up doing, I want it to be in the business world. Okay, it gotta be. It gotta be. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And did you have people around you where it was people were talking about business? Did you know any business owners growing up, or was that kind of class or shop or whatever y'all call it? I didn't go to a vocational school. Was that kind of your first exposure into the world of business and entrepreneurship, or were you kind of exposed before and it was planting those seeds and that kind of was a combination, or was that your first time really looking at this okay, this is something that I feel I could do?
Yeah, it was actually the first time. Because before it was kind of like, I was in my own little bubble. I didn't really like expand, nothing like that. And it was, during high school where I was just learning a bunch of different things. There used to be like competitions and stuff where you would go compete in many different like business aspects. It'd be this, it'd be that, just connecting with other people. But honestly, when it comes to like being around like business owners and stuff like that, I didn't really get that chance till like after high school, when I actually when it was like while I was in college, I got exposed to this business that I'm actually a part of at the moment. And it's just a bunch of business owners, entrepreneurs, just people doing many different things in that business aspect. So it wasn't until after high school where I got to expose to like actual business owners. But when I learned about business, it was during high school. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And what is it about business? Like, I mean, like, obviously money, right? As an entrepreneur, you have like the highest earning potential of all different career paths. Yeah. But also, I mean, as you know, like entrepreneurship is hard. Right, there's a reason that most people don't do it, is because it's very difficult. You got to go and get out on your own. So what is it about the kind of business area, the entrepreneurship area, that really kind of drew you? Was it just the money? Was it something else? Like, what kind of was it that drew you to that path?
So how I really see it is just like around the word freedom, financial freedom, creative freedom, like thinking freedom. You're able to just really like do your thing, especially in the entrepreneur aspect. You're literally able to do whatever it is that you want to do, and I never saw that in like any other career path, in my opinion. Like, I didn't see that anywhere else. And it was like, okay, first of all, I like being creative. Here I can be, like I can express myself. I can actually create things, do things for like my business how I want it to, so that was like the first thing. And of course, financial freedom, like you said, it's just like literally limitless money. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's just a lot of money. And like I mentioned, like we were talking about earlier, I want to do a lot for my country too. Like coming from over there, I want to be able to just like, I feel like I'm the person that like gotta do that. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta be the one to attain, like a lot of money to just help out, just send back and all that stuff. So that's what keeps me going. That's what made me really like more attracted to it.
Gotcha. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. So, okay. You're in the business space, right? But are you in school right now?
I'm not in school. I actually dropped out of college my second year.
That's crazy. I just found that out.
Yeah, I thought he knew. But.
Breaking news, guys. Annie dropped out of college. We get the exclusives here on the Global Renaissance podcast. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So you're not in school right now.
Nope.
So okay, what was that decision like? Because I'm sure that's probably a big decision. Like, I guess my dad was technically an immigrant, but like he was in the U.S. for a long time. But I know like a lot of my friends are, their parents are immigrants and stuff like that. I know like in immigrant households, there's like a heavy emphasis on like go to college, get a good job. But what was that process like of you? One, just making that determination on your own of like, all right, I'm all in on business entrepreneurship on myself versus staying in school. And then how was that kind of process like, talking with your family about that?
Yes, so basically, the thought of even dropping out started from, well, first of all the money you got to spend in college, it's a lot. It's just like, damn, like all this money could go to something else, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just second of all, I realized that school honestly, I always thought that school wasn't really like for me like that. All the unnecessary stuff that you gotta learn is just like, I feel like it's a waste of time. And especially when you get to college, that's what I really like realized, that it's like you had to take so many like extra classes that had nothing to do with what you wanted to do. So I was like, okay, like I don't really want to be here. Like, I'm literally like, I'm wasting all this time like learning about stuff I know I'm never gonna use. And the things that I was learning about like business, about like what I actually wanted to do in my career path, one, I already knew from high school, and two, I was learning it from books. So I was just like, okay, like it's like, I really had to, obviously, like Trevor said, immigrant households, it's like they're heavy on college, like heavy on college. So I actually like, it was a really long and tough conversation to have with them. It literally took 3 hours. Like,
jeez.
Like a long car. It was not easy. But I actually ended up convincing them, because I actually told them my life plans, like what I really wanted to do, like in the long run. I gave them like a whole, how do you say it? Like a whole outlook. I don't know, just like what I wanted to do, how I wanted to expand what I'm doing. And, they actually came to an agreement with it. They actually agreed with me, surprisingly. I didn't think that they would ever come, but it happened. So... yeah.
That's dope. I know that was a fight. Can you give us that kind of outlook you kind of gave them, that little projection for, like, can you give us a little insight into what it is that you plan on doing in that path you plan on going on?
Okay, so honestly, it just comes back to what we were talking about, entrepreneurship. You know, just doing that, and also, I forgot to mention this in the beginning too, but I'm actually a day trader, right? So I'm trading currencies, cryptos, of all, you know, that basically that financial market, and I just continue to get better every day. You know, I continue to educate myself every single day, and of course, you know, there's many people in that field who are already, you know, like successful in that just because they continue to, like, you know, be serious about it. So that's like the main thing, right? Just doing that and just finding, you know, different forms of residual income. You guys probably, like, people already watch this. I know you know this too. It's like there's so many different ways you can, like, make money in this world.
That's
like
a fact.
It even be like the dumbest things that you just gotta be like creative about and just get into it, and you boom, before you know, you're a 6-figure earner. Like what? Like it's just so crazy. So basically, you know, I was just breaking that down to them. I was talking about how, you know, like, you know, since I was going to be at home more, I would help them with the bills, with the rent, stuff like that. So, you know, that's currently happening. And yeah, really just getting more serious about my day trading, tapping more into, like, my creative roots, you know, just figuring stuff out to do with that, tapping into more residual income, and, you know, just doing that. Yeah.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope. All right, I want to talk about some of the creative stuff that you got going on because, like I said before, Annie, when it comes to, like, just marketing and just, I don't even know what the word, just aesthetics, Annie is like that, right? Like, just like that. If y'all see the fit, like, it's composed. She's thematically, in terms of color schemes, it's all just very well put together. And so I still remember, right, like, I would see her posting about her business, right, marketing herself, and I would literally just be watching her story. I'd be like, I would swipe up like every other day, like, yo, how did you do this? Yo, how you make that? How do I do this? Right? I'd be like, yeah, I know I asked about this 2 weeks ago, but, like, how do I do this? So definitely you're one of the goats when it comes to that, right? So I know that's something you've been working on. Like, where do you see that kind of aspect taking in? Like, I know obviously, you know, you're trading, I know you're a mentor, but, like, where do you see that kind of creative side taking a hold?
So something else I forgot to mention too. I actually run a graphic design business as well, right? So for the most part, I'm creating flyers. I'm also making, like, you know, like video edits, and I'm working on logos as well, you know, so I'm getting that out there. So in terms of my creative stuff, right, that's like the main thing right now, because at first, for my team, I would create, like, you know, free flyers, free content, and stuff like that. Then I was like, you know what, let me charge for this, because it takes, like, a while. It takes a long time. So I started doing $5 flyers, and, you know, the price continued to go up. But, yeah, for the main part, I'm doing that. And something else, this is actually, like, I haven't really told anyone about this, so it's, like, a first time. But I want to eventually get into, like, social media, like, coaching, you know, like a social media coach type of thing, and just helping out, you know, like, small businesses, like, really grow their accounts so they can get more attraction to their store, to their business and stuff like that. Because I noticed that there's a lot of people who got, like, stores and sell things that, like it's good stuff, but they just don't know how to market it. They don't know how to, like, put it out there, get creative with it, like, make it look nice. So it's just, like, you know, being able to help people out with that is something I want to, you know, do, because, you know, I was blessed with a creative mind, and I just love doing stuff with it. So, you know, doing that. But for the main part, though, that's, like, the two, like, main things for now.
Okay, all right, that's fine. There were 2 gems. If you didn't catch those there, 1, if you do something well, never do it for free, and 2, great marketing makes selling unnecessary. That's a quote that I heard on one of my favorite podcasts from David Shands. It's called the Social Proof Podcast, where he was, you know, having an interview with somebody. They said great marketing makes selling unnecessary, because you could have the best product in the world, right? I could have the best podcast in the world, which I do, #1 podcast in America, in the world. Y'all just, like, we're just putting it out there right now. They'll catch on later. But if I don't put it out to nobody hears it, right? If I don't know how to put it on these different channels, right? Can't post it on TikTok or Instagram or nothing like that, nobody's gonna hear it. Same thing if you're selling sneakers, right? You might have the dopest kicks, you might have the dopest clothes, dopest jewelry, but if nobody sees it and you don't make it attractive, nobody's gonna buy it. And so the skill that you have, I think, is one that I really think is very valuable to everybody. So we're going to, you know, tell people how to get in contact with you. But definitely, if you're somebody who, you know, maybe you're a small business owner, you might sell something, or maybe you just want to be Instagram influencer. I don't know, right? There's money in that. Definitely hit up Annie. Like I said, we're going to have her drop her socials later. But can you, like, speak to the value of, like, social media for a second? Like, what that allows you to do as a creative? Because I know, like, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, like just thinking about like, yo, art is like, there's no money in art. Now obviously we got like NFTs and stuff like that where people like selling their art for hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. But like, what has social media done for someone like you, where now you're able to display your talents to thousands of people at a time where maybe you weren't able to do that before?
Okay. Well, first of all, I feel like, obviously it all comes down to the fact that everything is turning into technology. Like, everything. Like, workers are being replaced with robots. Things are getting, like, everything is just turning technical. Like, very, very, everything's technology. So, social media is just, like, as you guys may already know, it's just a place where people can come together and just speak their thoughts, just get creative, show what they got going on, all that type of stuff. So, I feel like, because, back in the day, like, you didn't really get that chance. You didn't really get that chance to have your voice be heard like that. But now on social media, it's like one post can go viral. Now, like, hundreds and thousands of people are hearing about it, like, all over the world. So I feel like that's really, I don't really, hold on, wait. I don't really get your question, though.
Like just, I mean, for you, like... I mean, we grew up, you're 19, so you grew up in kind of a digital era. I mean, I did, I'm 22, but like we grew up with phones and technology and stuff like that. Have you ever thought about what you're doing right now? You probably couldn't have done this maybe 20 years ago without all this technology. Like, have you ever kind of had that thought go through your brain?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like obviously, back then it was way harder to get like your voice across, your art across, whatever it may be. But it's just, social media just makes it so simple, like, for whatever it is you're trying to do. Like, people be, like, using it for many different aspects. Whatever it is you're trying to do, you can get it across through social media. Like, literally, through, like, one app. Instagram is probably, like, what, the biggest one right now, probably?
Facebook.
Maybe? Facebook,
because
Instagram,
Facebook
Facebook.
owns Instagram.
That's true, yeah, that is true.
Depends on
Facebook.
the target audience, but Facebook is the largest.
So, just in Facebook alone, it's, like, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but you know what I'm trying to get at, though? I feel you. It's just big. It's just so simple. It's a lot more simple now to just do what you gotta do and just blow up.
For sure. Use it to your advantage. Don't just scroll. Use it. Because you got consumers, you got creators. She's a creator. She gets paid. You know what I'm saying? Consumers don't get paid. They pay money. One thing I wanted to circle back to, you said it something super interesting. You said all the stuff you was learning in school, in terms of what you really wanted to learn about what you wanted to do, you were learning books. What are some of the books that you've read that have influenced you?
There's a lot. Let's see. So I actually started, just creating like the person that I am today. Starting with, personal development and stuff like that, right? This is a book that I always recommend to everybody. It's called NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, right? And with that, it basically teaches you how to, navigate through your mind, like control your thoughts, control your feelings, and just like eventually that transforms into, controlling your life. So, that book is pretty thick, it's big, but, it's very like, the first chapter I was like, whoa, it was like life-changing for me. I was like, this is different. So I recommend that for, everybody. It got like 3 different authors. I don't even know the name, but it's purple, so that's the book. Another one has to be Think and Grow Rich. That's the very like big one. Think and Grow Rich. Just another thing that has to do with personal development, just controlling your mind. How to really get to how to really become a wealthy person. Whatever it is that you want to do. Something else is, let's see, Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? That was actually a book that was recommended to me by so many people. I eventually got to it and I'm like, whoa, that's different. This is different, it just teaches you about a lot of financial things. What else? There's so many. I can't even like think.
Yeah, you probably read a lot.
Yeah, and it's just like some books, like I didn't even read the whole thing. It was just like random passages that you would find like online, or just like I would go to like bookstores sometimes and just like read through some random pages and stuff like that. So like not even necessarily reading an entire book, I would just learn things here and there, literally, and it was just a lot more. I felt like it was a lot more value than what I was learning, like I said, in college.
Got you. And I mean, obviously the books are influential. Are there any people, right, that you've kind of looked to as influences, whether it be like in your business journey, in your personal growth journey, just growing up? Anybody that you would consider like a personal influence, whether you know them or not?
Ooh, like in terms of just like anything that I'm
literally anything.
Just influential.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, there is this girl, right? This woman. And she runs like her own like clothing brand. It's like clothing, accessories, like many different things. And she's just very, when I found her business, it was just, I noticed that the way she would market herself, She was just very unapologetically her. She would just express herself like however she wanted to. She didn't care about nobody thought. Her aesthetic was really nice. Shout out to Valentina Boyd, that's her name. And her company is like Boyd, like just her last name. But it's really like that helped me tap more into like my creative roots, and when it came to like marketing, just like creating in general, that very much, you know, her. And I actually feel like I don't know if you were like, I don't know, did you used to watch like Disney when you were little and stuff like that? Yeah, so you know, is this a show? I think this is a show. I think it was called Jessie.
Jessie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember Cameron Boyce?
Yeah.
The guy that passed away?
Yeah.
Yes. So Cameron Boyce, that's actually, it's crazy because like growing up, I was just like seeing him on TV and it'd be like, okay, cool. Like I don't think he's cute, whatever, right? And when he like passed away, it was like, dang, like this is crazy. Like I think that was like the first Disney star to really, well, not the first, but like and like that around that time period. But there was this speech that I remember like listening to that he made while he was alive, and he was just talking about the power of, you know, like power over our phones. You know, we literally have the whole world in our hands, like we were talking about earlier. You know, with social media, you can do anything that you want to do. He was talking about that, and just also how we have to use our platforms to help others. You know, just really like, because me, that's something else too. I like to inspire, I like to help, I like to just really like give back. Like I'm super big on that. You know, so him, just listening to him say that, and then just him saying how he wanted to leave like an impact in the world, it was just crazy because like then he passed, and it was just like he like impacted all these people, you know. So it was just, that really like touched me in a sense, you know. I was like, wow, like, you know, that's crazy. So he's definitely somebody else that I feel like was very influential, you know, with what I'm doing. And I can't think of anyone else right now, but there's other people.
That's good. I mean, obviously influencers come and go, and you probably think some of it as you walk out. But my last question is, what do you value? You kind of spoke about just a little bit as you were talking about your influences, like, you know, you want to impact, inspire. But like, what do you stand for? Like, what does Anny stand for? When people know Anny, right? When people hear that name, what do you want them to think of? What is that legacy you're trying to leave?
Ooh. Good question. So when it comes to me, right, honestly, I want to start with my last name. My last name is Ham, Ham, right? And when I was in school, of course, it's not a very common name. It's actually Chinese. I'm part Chinese as well, but very like, I'm just 25% Chinese, you know. But
that's a significant portion. But anyway,
I mean,
that's like a whole grandparent.
Well, yes. So I never actually got to meet my grandparent. He passed away, you know, before I got to meet him. But you know, with that last name, it was just kind of like, you know, I would get make fun of it. I would get bullied for it in school because it's like ham, like school, like, you know what I'm saying, like food, you know what I'm saying, like ham. But it actually stands for in Chinese, I don't know like the specific, like the actual like definition, but it stands for something just like being powerful, right? And I just think back, you know, like to, you know, this is movies like Mulan and stuff like that. You see like a bunch of people fighting in war, especially, you know, Mulan herself, the one who really went out there and made it happen, really stood for the ladies, right? So I feel like just growing up, you know, after passing through, you know, school and everything, I really realized, you know, I really hold a whole legacy in my last name. You know, like I really don't know who my ancestors were like that, but, you know, I want to start looking into it, but just really like carrying that on, you know, because I feel like I just feel like, you know, my bloodline just is very like, that's something special. You know, I just want to keep going with that, and I want to, you know, I want to be the one to break generational curses, you know, especially when it comes to financial generational curses. I want to be the one to do that. But with my, you know, just me in general, Anny Ham, right? I want people to think of a powerful woman, right, who's very unapologetic, just is herself, just goes out and does what she got to do, who will stand up for people, give back to people, just do whatever she is that she, you know, just wants to do. And I'm trying to think, what else? Just, I don't even know. There's like a word that like I'm thinking of, but I can't like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it.
I can't. Hold on, y'all. Give me like 2 seconds. It's just.
This better be a good word.
I really can't think about. I really can't. Oh my god. Just very strong. Let's say that's very strong.
Very strong.
Yeah.
Period.
That's it.
Put a 9 on it. Put a 9 on it. Well, Anny Ham, I appreciate you bringing your strong presence on to the Global Renaissance podcast. You drop a lot of value for anybody listening. So, for anybody who does want to connect you, maybe like they want to get in touch with your graphic design business. Maybe they want a flyer made, right? Maybe they just want to see how you're moving, how you're operating, how they can be inspired by you. Where can people find you?
So what I really like being on for the most part is Instagram. I'm actually rebuilding my page right now at this very moment. But it's ANHXM_. So it's like a mix of my first name and last name together. But yeah, that's my app. You guys can message me on there. I DM back. So yeah.
Perfect. So that's Instagram ANHXM_. All right, go ahead, give her a follow. Shoot her a DM. Let her know how much value she gave to y'all today on the podcast. That's it for this episode. Once again, I appreciate you for coming on, dropping all this value. Make sure y'all stay tuned with Anny because she got a lot of special things coming on. She's always revamping something. It's the creative thing. I don't know. But definitely, like I said, I appreciate everybody for tuning in with this episode of the Global Renaissance podcast. You know how we come, and I'll see y'all next time.
For sure. Thanks for having me.